So I think Giordano's main idea is that all the rhythm come from an attempt to play a toccata, to play an ensemble with a guitar. And of course it's not possible, so you have to find creative ways of suggesting the rhythm. And he showed many examples in many different rhythms. I will try to do the same with bossa nova, which is in some sense simpler, but also more, a lot of variations. And so...
We start straight?
Yeah, the magic thing is that, which I think no one knows where it came from, is that it's a very, very subtle, very small detail that makes bossa nova. It's basically you play crotchets. And then one of them just, instead you do this syncopation as it's written here. That's all. And what the idea is that the syncopation comes from some elements in the rhythm that were picked up and that transformed into a syncopation. The syncopation was not really there, in fact. The guitar invented syncopation. So what we wanted to do here is to show you that it's not a theory. I want to play you a song by John Gilberto, Besame Mucho. It's not Brazilian.
Yes. Well, no, this is not Brazilian.
It's not Brazilian.
I want him.
It is French, as you know.
And I think no one knows.
And
most people think it's Argentina or something. It's Mexican song.
Okay, Mexican.
Okay.
So there is an intro with violins and then the guitar, John Gilberto. The guitar is playing exactly actually this rhythm.
This pattern.
Syncopation is coming.
Bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho, que tengo miedo perderte después. Bésame.
So that's it. There is nothing else. all the rest is just variations.
And that's everything.
So goodbye. So the variations come from different ways to borrow from the rhythms. So it's very interesting to do this classification of rhythms.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I told François a story to say that when you just play this rhythm, and you play this on and on and on and on, for us this is not bossa nova. I don't know if what's your opinion about that, but I remember when Cazuza released the album, I don't know what, but it was, do you remember the bossa nova was, Te pego na escola e encho a tua bola com tu. The main complaint of anyone was that the rhythm was repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated, and as this is repeated, it doesn't sound bossa nova. So this is the kind of thing that goes that we need variations. Variation is not just ornaments, it's really a part of our way of playing. Just play the same rhythm on and on and on and on and on is not part of our tradition.
No, okay, so one variation is that one. Actually, it's hard to play it all the time because you feel that you want to change stuff. more, I mean, we are not going to do everything in detail. This one is more and more complex, like.
And one interesting thing that we want to say here is that even a song with just 2 chords, like Samba da Benção, do you know Samba da Benção? É melhor ser alegre que ser triste, alegria é melhor. So everyone knows this song, but it's not just 2 chords like the basic one, like. You have to make variations and to place the chords in different positions. So it's normal to play this song with 10 different positions for the D major and lots of positions for the A7.
And now, of course, many musicians introduce their own specific way. This is where actually things become interesting for research. What each musician wrote, you know. So this one is called the Tocchino variation. It was found in a method because he's not the only one to do it, but it probably was the first to actually reverse all the cells. So do the syncopation at the beginning instead of at the middle, for instance. So it goes like. So you just shuffle the beats, the beats here actually in the bar, but you can play many songs like this, alternating with the other ones. Agua de Marzo can be played like this. This one is interesting because it introduces the idea that you can actually do percussion with the guitar. It's not very hard to reintroduce the thing that you are trying to get rid of actually in the first place. That's all. What is it? So it's a kind of ironical because when you do this, you actually
and this
come back.
Is exactly what the hi-hat does in the samba. So this is really important. That's what Chico Buarque did in the lyrics of Partido Alto that we're gonna hear, so I'm not gonna talk right now.
John Gilberto was probably the guy who pushed a bit farther the same idea. So how do you play this? Let's do this more slowly. You will recognize which tune it is. So,
Vou te contar, os olhos já não podem ver coisas que só o coração pode entender. Fundamental é mesmo amor, é impossível ser feliz sozinho.
okay, and so you can actually, from this basic cell, do an infinite number of variations, and of course combine them in all sorts of ways. So we wanted to introduce at that point the one by Javan because it's more recent.
Yeah, Javan has very variations, and normally he puts inside notes inside this rhythm. So the rhythm normally has more notes than the regular bossa. This is a music played by him. And so Javan has a very interesting thing. He mixes techniques. It's not like João Gilberto that always plays clean chords, etc. He mixes this kind of, as François said, and things like. So he can play things like. So if you want to note this, it's really hard because here it's a regular thing, but when he does like, it's really hard to notate this in the scores. So if you play, so this is what's hard to play in Javan. And even to play things like the bass that goes with like the Samba school, doing those things like, this comes from the Samba school, that yes, and so normally you have this tradition of bossa nova. João Gilberto invented many rhythm patterns, etc. Everyone tried to imitate João Gilberto, in fact. And after a while, all the guitarists started to have his own signatures and his own ways of playing the guitar. And so the difference between bossa nova and samba goes blurred, because bossa nova is a kind of samba. It's a samba really slow, played in a particular way, very minimalistic. And in fact, you can play the same songs, the bossa nova songs, as a samba. And so you have lots and lots of variations, because each musician is a style, in fact. And so we started to have samba rock, partido alto, pagode, and this and this and this and this. And you have many different ways of playing guitar. And partido alto is a particular interesting thing, because it's a kind of syncopation to contrast with the other instruments. Normally, the samba drums became too regular. If you listen to a samba school right now, it's something like, it's almost an electronic music, and so you have syncopations for a more wider range, like, and this is what the partido alto do. This is like playing pandeiro. That's some variations from partido alto. And funny thing is that the song Partido Alto is not actually a Partido Alto, but we should play because it's really beautiful. And it shows also the taste for the dissonances. This chord, repeated over and over. If it was a Partido Alto, it would be like... But the tradition of Partido Alto was really the fundo de quintal, the people that just joined to play percussion. And Chico Buarque did a genial thing. It was to emulate the percussion, not with the guitar, but with the lyrics. So when you say chiquideu, 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 dara, in fact he does the chick, 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 as the caixa, as the caxixi, as this. This is really genial in Chico Buarque. And so we come back to Coisa Feita, and we can understand finally what goes on in Samba. In Coisa Feita, he plays a Partido Alto. Sou bem mulher de pegar macho pelo pé, reencarnação na princesa do Dar.